religious right. And Temecula, where this is now where I currently live. I did live in Carlsbad for many years, and I moved to Temecula to be close to my grandchildren. So in November 2022, 3 new board members were elected to the Temecula School Board, and the board obviously is a 5 board members, so they were the majority. And their supporter, if you will, the funding, came from a church, Evangelical 412 Church. It has a PAC, so it issues money, public political money. And its PAC is public schools are the devil. It's one of its statements is public schools are the devil's playground. Okay, can't be more obvious than that. At least they're not, hiding who they are. Okay, we know who you are. The night they were installed as school board members, that very night, they took action without, conferring with the bureaucracy of the school district, without conferring with teachers, anything. And they banned critical race theory. It is not taught in Temecula Valley. It's not taught in any public school arena. It's a high level, kind of conversation. But with the effect of it and the way it was worded is to send a message to your social science teachers that you're not going to be talking about systemic racism because that doesn't exist, right? We don't have systemic racism, not the United States, okay? And that was the intent, obviously, of these board members, is to restrict that discussion. And it had an effect. It then rejected, and this is important to understand, it's a K-5 curriculum. So they have a list of textbooks to consider. The district went through that process. Teachers, tried it out on the classrooms and so forth. And so there was an approval presented for this K-5 curriculum and textbooks. They refused to approve the K-5 curriculum. So the district now there's no curriculum standards at Temecula at that time. And the reason for this is a supplemental reading, whatever, book or magazine or whatever, mentions Harvey Milk. It wasn't even in the textbook, which is okay too, but it wasn't even in that. And they refused, unless it was agreed to get rid of that supplemental reading, we are not going to approve the K-5 curriculum. Obviously, this is going to cause our state governor, and it's not obvious, I shouldn't say that. A lot of states in our nation their legislature and governors have a different way of thinking than our governor. And he's going to now look at our frameworks and the state education code and all that, and he's going to threaten state action. He's going to say, we're going to buy the books, deliver it, you're going to pay for it. And not only are you going to pay for the books, but we're going to fine you $1.5 million. Obviously, they refer to their attorney, and they're going to back down and approve the curriculum textbooks. But of course, they don't want to have the supplemental reading. By July 2023, you're now going to have the issue that's going to come out is going to be the issue of gender and the discussion of students questioning their gender. And this is not going to only be in Temecula district. This is going to be in a number of districts throughout our state and other states. And they're going to pass a resolution that's saying that if a student comes to you, and this could be the teacher, the counselor, whoever, if a student comes to you expressing confusion on their gender in any way, shape, or form, you are to immediately notify the parent. Well, this, again, is going to be passed, and I'm going to show you another district that has this, but this is going to be passed in other districts. And in January, just recently, the California Attorney General, Bonta, is going to issue a legal alert to all school districts that forced outing of public school kids' gender identity issues, saying that this is against state law. You can't do it. And so we're going to have that happen. In August, you're going to have a lawsuit. And here's where you see the community and organizations react to what's going on. You can have a lawsuit against the 3 board members for censoring education. You have the teachers union, you have individual parents, students, other organizations joining the lawsuit, and the lawsuit is in the process. In December, you have the resignation of one of the religious right board members resigning, and you also have now a recall election that is going to happen. Our guess is that it will be in November because it was, approved too late. We got the signatures for the board president. So right now, what you have is a 2-2 board. I understand that next week they're going to be interviewing the slot of Danny Gonzalez, and they're going to have open interview process, and there are about 12 people wanting to take that position. My guess is that it probably, unless they could find somebody who's like right in the middle, it's probably not going to happen, and they'll probably be leaving the seat open until November, but maybe they do find somebody that all sides can agree. A 2-2 board is not an easy board to get things done with. I wanted to give you examples also of the organizations that now formed, because this is really important to understand. Besides AAUW, right, and we obviously expressed our views, you have organizations formed, one Temecula Valley, you have ENACT or ENACT, which is Black Moms and Educators. You have the Grandparents for Truth. You have, of course, the union, the TV Educators Association. The NAACP has joined in on this. You have an organization called Defense of Democracy, which is very active. And you have the League of United Latin American Citizens. What you have is, in other words, and it gives me hope, is that there's groups of people attending these meetings, expressing their opposition, willing to have lawsuits, and of course, referring to our, our legislators. Some other examples. There's an Awakened Church in San Diego, and the pastor is said God sent him to San Diego to build a religious movement. It has its Warriors of Liberty, and their focus is to obviously take over school boards. Their use of Twitter and Instagram has led to suspension because of the abuse of their language and so forth. They are in a website. They had a video with an array of weapons and a narration that said, willing to seize political power at any cost. Social media attacks against public schools and gay people, obviously, is where they were heading. Central mission to endorsement and support of school board candidates throughout San Diego County. You also have, and I'm going to the next one, Chino Valley. And this is over the issue of the reporting to parents immediately. And in July 2023, you had the visit by our Attorney General, by our Superintendent of Public Instruction, and he actually physically went to the board meeting. He urged them to reject the plan, saying that it's harmful to the LGBTQ plus students. And he was booed out, and he was escorted out by the Chino police. The plan obviously was also attempted in the assembly, that it didn't work, but you have now local school boards like Temecula, like Chino Valley, approving that resolution. And of course, I already told you about that. We have now a notification by the state attorney general that you can't do it. Briefly, Carlsbad Unified also over the resolution, and a lot of it, but in this case, the resolution was on diversity, equity, and inclusion, which of course is our state framework. And there was opposition by a vice principal. There was opposition by a church congregants who were encouraged to go to the school board meeting. It was condemned by the superintendent of schools, but it will be approved with some softening of the language. So what you're now also seeing, obviously, is the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion becoming a very hot topic, and expect that to be lighting a lot of fires, if you will, on school boards. Okay, we have here that you, and here's where I want to kind of, obviously we're encouraging you to write letters on the issues, okay? And AUW California, we support all of the things that I've talked about. And if there's a piece of legislation that your branch affiliate wants to make an issue on, please send letters. But what I want to emphasize is that supporting a specific candidate, okay, is a matter of whether you are a 501c3 or a 501c4, okay? If you are a 501c4, which is the majority, but not all of our branch affiliates, you may recruit, endorse candidates for non-partisan elective offices. That means you can go out there, you can say, I'm from AAUW, affiliate such and such, and would you be interested in running for school board? And we're gonna back you, okay? If you are a 501c4, then you may, I'm sorry, if you are a 501c3, you may not endorse or recruit candidates. Both, though, are able to speak to school boards on the issues. So if they're passing a resolution, let's say, that is going to out gender students, gender questioning students, then you can, there's no problem. You can go in front of the school board and speak directly as a representative of your particular branch of AUW. You cannot, though, let's say there's candidates for election. If you are a C3, you cannot go in front of the mic and say, I endorse, the branch endorses, the branch affiliate endorses so-and-so. I really need, this has been an ongoing, question for clarity. This is a non-partisan race, so therefore that is fine for us.